question. So, kapag tumingin ba kayo sa airplane wing, what do you think actually kung ano yung nagpapalipad sa aircraft? So, is it the engine? Is it the speed? Or is it the shape? Comment na lang kayo if you have an idea. Or raise your hand. Comment na lang kayo. Random guess. Idea lang. Anyone? If hindi kayo magko-comment, magtatawag na lang ako. Bakit hindi kayo nagko-comment? Minsan na nga lang tayo mag-class at lagi akong wala, lagi akong nagpa-panel or whatever, may meeting. Porcelo?
Yung design po ng wings, ma'am.
Okay, so design ng wings. So, actually, since 'di ba na-discuss natin kung anong effect ng engine or anong ginagawa niya sa aircraft or yung speed, actually malaking contribution yung shape sa pagpapalipad ng aircraft. So, yan, largely it's about shape. Specifically yung airfoil since yung airfoil, yun yung shape ng wing or yung airfoil, yung cross-sectional shape ng wing. So, kung titingnan nyo, kumbaga ika-cut nyo yung wing, yun yung airfoil. So, sa aking ibang subject, sa computational fluid dynamics specifically, nagsisimulate kami doon ng airfoil. And nung first simulation namin, nag-simulate kami ng airfoil. And then, sa mga next na simulation namin, nag-simulate naman nagpa 3D wing design ako. And then, pina-integrate ko yung airfoil na ginamit nila doon sa wing nila. And then, sa last simulation namin, which is hindi pa namin nagagawa, isi-simulate na namin yung wing gamit yung airfoil na napili nila. Yan. So, yan lang. Basically, airfoil is the cross-sectional shape ng wing. Ibig sabihin, kung puputulin nga natin yung wing, and then titingnan natin siya from the side, yung exact shape nun is, yun yung tinatawag natin na airfoil. Now, yung shape na yun, it is not designed randomly. Meron siyang design or meron siyang mga sinusunod na standards. So, later we'll discuss about that. So, just an important idea about the aircraft or the airfoil, yung aircraft, hindi lang siya nagmo-move through air. Actually, kinokontrol nila yung kinokontrol nila and manipulate nila yung airflow. So, doon, that is how yung lift is generated. So, there are two main ways to understand lift. Actually, for sure, alam niyo na yon since madami na kayong na-encounter na computation, pero just a concept. The first one is the pressure difference. This is widely dinidiscuss namin or ginagamit namin sa computational fluid dynamics, which is kukunin nyo rin or iti-take nyo rin after the aerodynamics. After kasi ng aerospace flight mechanics, magkakaroon kayo ng aerodynamics and then yung computational fluid dynamics. So, yun nga, the first one is through pressure difference. So, kapag dumaan ng hangin sa ibabaw ng wing, nag-speed up siya and then kapag yung velocity is nag increase yung pressure is nagde-decrease. So, samantalang sa ilalim naman ng wing, mas mabagal yung hangin, so mas mataas yung pressure. So, because of that pressure difference, yung wing is pushed upward. So, yung upward force na yun is yung tinatawag natin na lift. So, kung ginagamit niyo na yung Bernoulli's equation, 'di ba, kino-compute doon yung pressure difference to usually kapag i-manipulate natin yung Bernoulli's equation, gagamitin natin yung pressure difference kapag i-compute yung velocity. So, yan. I'm not sure if na-encounter niyo na siya kung nag-fluid dynamics na kayo. Pero yan, ginagamit yun lagi sa aerodynamics and sa computational fluid dynamics. So, sinasabi ko lang kasi yun yung mga next courses or subjects na iti-take nyo. So, the next one is yung Newton's third law of motion. So, na-discuss na natin siya. So yan, yung wing is also pinupush yung air downward. So if yung air is forced downward, yung reaction force is nagpupush sa wing upward. So yung lift is not just about the pressure, it is also about the momentum change. Um, So, yun nga, designing yung airfoil is very complex. So, dahil doon, kailangan ng way to standardize everything. Hindi pwedeng basta, okay, ito na lang yung number ng airfoil, dapat standard siya or may sinusunod. So, hindi pwedeng mukhang curve lang yung description. That is why may naka-airfoil series. So, later we'll discuss about that after we discuss yung tawag dito, basic parts of the airfoil. So, dyan pumapasok yung NACA or yung National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics. Sila yung nag-develop ng system kung saan yung airfoils is dinidescribe using the numbers. So, instead of explaining yung NACA in words or yung NACA shape in words, you can simply say something like NACA 2412 for example, and immediately kaya mo na siyang i-explain through mathematical description. Later we'll discuss. For example, di ba yung dulo, usually maximum thickness siya. So, kunwari yung dulo nung 2412, so automatic 12% maximum thickness niya. So, later we'll discuss pa naman yung mga series na yon. So, wait lang. So, let's move on sa basic parts of airfoil. So, yung basic parts of airfoil, nabanggit ko naman na siya sa last activity natin. We have leading edge, trailing edge, chord line, mean camber line, maximum camber, maximum thickness, upper surface, lower surface. So, usually, yung mga parts naman ng airfoil, mababasa nyo na or may explain nyo na siya through its name lang. So, for example, sa leading edge, di syempre nasa most forward part siya ng airfoil. So, yun na. Moving on to the leading edge. So, let's start lang with the leading edge. So, this is the frontmost part of the airfoil and ito yung first part na nag interact sa airflow. So, this part is very critical because siya yung nagde-determine kung paano yung airflow is nasa-split between the upper and lower surfaces. So, if yung airflow is hindi makapag um, smoothly attach dito sa leading edge, magsa-separate siya. And kapag nag-separate yung airflow, yung lift is nagde-decrease and yung drag is nag-increase. So, that is why yung leading edge is usually rounded. Kasi kapag sharp siya, yun nga, magsa-separate yung airflow and magkakaroon ng turbulence or magkakaroon ng risk of flow separation and yan, during stall conditions, um, magde-detach yung airflow. So, yung leading edge is not just front part of the airfoil, it is the control point of the airflow attachment, and stall behavior. So, moving on to the trailing edge. So, in comparison or in contrast sa leading edge, ito naman yung dulo ng airflow. So, um, trailing edge is the rearmost part of the airfoil, kung saan yung airflow from the upper and lower surfaces is nagmi-meet again. Kasi 'di ba sa leading edge naghihiwalay siya. Kunwari yung leading edge is very sharp or very round. So doon na determine kung paano maghihiwalay sa to upper surface and lower surface. And then dito naman sa trailing edge, dito naman sila magmi-meet. So at this point, gusto natin na yung airflow is aalis siya sa airfoil ng smoothly. That is why very sharp siya. So, If yung flow is nag exist in a chaotic way, nag-create siya ng turbulence and nag increase ng drag. So that is why yung trailing edge, it is designed to be very thin, and yung pagkanipis ng trailing edge, nakaka-help siya to ensure na yung airflow is mag-exit siya cleanly, hindi na siya sasabit-sabit. Kasi pag hindi siya sharp or hindi siya manipis, yun, magkakaroon pa ng turbulence. So, there is also a concept called Kuta condition, Kutta condition, which states na yung airflow must leave smoothly at the trailing edge. So, itong part na to, it plays a important part or important role sa pag-control ng drag and pag-maintain ng stable airflow behavior. So, okay, medyo napapagas na ako. Anyone can read and explain based on your understanding since activity naman natin to. Chord line, anyone? If hindi kayo mag-raise ng hand, again, magtatawag na lang ako. Annie, are you here? Parang hindi ka nag-attendance kanina, hindi ka nag-present kanina, pero nandito ka sa meet. Annie, are you here?
Ma'am, nag-present po ako kanina. Hindi ka po
Eh,
pakinig.
siya, hindi ko rinig.
Present
Okay,
po.
can you read and explain chord line based on your understanding?
The chord line is the straight line that connects the leading edge to the trailing edge of the airfoil. It serves as a reference line for various measurements, such as chord length, camber, and angle of attack. And this is essential in analyzing the aerodynamic characteristics of the airfoil. The functions of chord line are used to define index and basis for airfoil geometry calculation. Um, for me, ma'am, chord line is an imaginary line po from the front to the back. Um, siguro po ay this is to ano po, uh, understand the airfoil's angle and shape. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you. Parang feeling ko nagtulungan pa kayo ni Franco dun ah. Okay, so later, ipapakita ko yung hitsura para ma-visualize nyo. Actually, wala pala ako ditong pen kasi laptop yung gamit ko. So, baka, sige. I-represent ko na lang siya since yung drawing ko kasi dito is wala siyang label para alam nyo. Although, alam niyo na for sure kasi dinrawing niyo na siya dun sa activity niyo, papakita ko pa rin. So, basically, yung chord line is yung imaginary straight line, kagaya nga nasabi mo, which is binasa mo ata dito. So, siya yung nagko-connect sa leading edge and sa trailing edge. So, straight line lang siya. Kasi 'di ba sa airfoil parts natin, meron line doon, which is hinahati niya yung airfoil. So, itong chord line, hindi niya hinahati equally yung airfoil. Ito is line lang na nagko-connect from leading edge to trailing edge. So, even though it's imaginary line lang, it is important kasi siya yung nagsiserve as reference line for almost all aerodynamic measurements. So later, makikita nyo kung bakit parang ginagamit siyang reference. Kasi 'di ba pag dinedescribe natin yung parts of yung series, naka-airfoil series, laging in reference sa chord line. So yan, that is why reference siya or reference line siya. So, yan. For example, kapag pinag-usapan natin yung angle of attack, we are referring to the angle between the chord line and the incoming airflow. So, yan, reference naman siya. Or pag dinidescribe yung ibang parts actually, hindi naman parts yung angle of attack. So, yan. So, yung angle na yun is nade-determine siya kung gaano na yung lift and drag is produced and whether the airfoil will stall. So, yung chord line, siya na yung nag-act na baseline para ma-analyze yung entire airfoil geometry. So, yan. Next, mean camber line. Anyone? Raise na kayo ng hand. Nire-record ko to kasi parang wala tayong recitation. Pero we'll have a quiz. Yes, Del Mundo. Since parang hindi kita na-mark kasi nag-comment ka lang.
Yung mean camber line po, ma'am, is parang ito po yung curve line na nalolocate po sa between upper and lower surface po. And nagre-represent po siya ng curvature po ng airfoil na may malaki pong role to lift and airfoil can generate po.
Okay, thank you. So, ito yung sinasabi ko na line na naghahati equally dun sa upper and lower surface ng airfoil. Kung makikita nyo kung nag-drawing man kayo, kung gumawa kayo ng activity, di ba may hidden line dun sa gitna ng airfoil, which is yung chord line na kanina na nagko-connect lang doon sa leading edge and trailing edge. Ito naman mean camber line. So, average siya. Siya yung naghahati equally. Yun. Ito yung curved line located halfway between the upper and lower surface. So, itong line na to, nagre-represent siya sa average curvature ng airfoil. So, yung amount of curvature na directly nag-a-affect kung paanong yung lift or how much lift yung airfoil is, wait lang, nagugulang aking construction of sentence. So, yung amount of curvature na directly na nag-a-affect kung how much yung airfoil, kung gaano kadami, oh my gosh, wait lang, I'm sorry, na hindi ko sa utak ko. Okay, again, so ito yung amount ng curvature na nag-a-affect kung how much lift the airfoil can generate. Yun finally. Yun basically, kung gaanong lift lang yung kayang i-generate ng airfoil. Yun lang. So, if yung airfoil is mas curved, mas magja-generate siya ng more lift even at lower speeds or even at zero angle of attack. So, on the other hand, if symmetrical, magpo-produce na siya ng zero lift at zero angle. So, yung mean camber line, it defines kung gaano ka-curve yung airfoil and how much or how effective siya sa pag-generate ng lift. Okay lang. So, medyo magulo, medyo hirapan ako mag-construct ng sentence. Moving on to the, pero gets naman, react kayo. Baka mamaya hindi niyo pala naiintindihan. Basta basically, ito lang yung curve na nagde-describe kung gaanong lift yung kayang i-generate ng airfoil. Yun lang. Next, maximum camber. Anyone? Yes, Umali.
Maximum camber. Maximum camber is the greatest distance between the mean camber line and the chord line of an airfoil. It describes how much the airfoil is curved and is usually expressed as a percentage of the chord length. This value helps determine the lift characteristics of the airfoil, with higher camber generally producing more lift at lower speeds. So from the word itself po, maximum, basically ito po yung point doon po sa ating chord line tsaka po dun sa ating mean camber line na kung saan po pinakamalayo po sila sa isa't isa.
Okay. Thank you. So, yun yung maximum camber. So, basically, it is the greatest distance between the mean camber line and the chord line. So, kung yung mean camber line natin is just about kung gaano ka-curve yung airfoil, itong maximum camber, dinedescribe niya rin kung saan located yung airfoil. Kung saan curved yung airfoil. So, this is located sa near the front ng airfoil, and it tends to produce more lift at lower speeds. So, if it is located farther back, um, mas efficient naman siya sa higher speed. So again, kapag maximum camber is located forward or near the front ng airfoil, it tends to produce more lift at lower speeds, and then kapag farther back naman is mas efficient siya at higher speeds. So yun na, it is not just about the curvature of the airfoil, it is about the position along the cord. So next, for the maximum thickness. Yes, Bernardo. Okay, thank you. So, yun nga, maximum thickness, it is the thickest part ng airfoil. So, basically, kung alin lang dun yung pinaka makapal na part. O kung ito ay sa gitna or sa medyo pa front, yun, that is the maximum thickness. So, it is measured as the distance between the upper and lower surface. So, it is important naman structurally and aerodynamically. So, structurally, yung wing, need niya ng thickness para ma-support yung load and to contain internal components. So, aerodynamically naman, thickness affects kung paanong yung airflow is nagbe-behave and paano siya nakaka-influence sa drag. So, kapag mas makapal yung airflow, yung airfoil I mean, um, mas stronger siya, pero mas nagpo-produce siya ng more drag. Kapag naman manipis yung airfoil, it is more it is more aerodynamic, pero mas less structurally strong siya. So, moving on to the upper surface. Anyone? Okay, Aisel Marie Flandes.
So upper surface. The upper surface of the airfoil is the top side of the wing over which the airflow travels. Air typically moves faster over this surface due to the shape of the airfoil, which contributes to the pressure difference between the upper and lower surface and helps generate lift. Function of upper surface is creates lower pressure and major contributor to lift. So, basically po, ang upper surface, sa pagkakaintindi ko po, is yung top part nga po ng airfoil. And yung surface nga po, yung upper surface nga po is usually po ay mas pronounced o mas curved po kaysa sa lower surface. So, yung air flowing over this po typically moves faster kaya nagke-create po siya ng lower pressure which contributes significantly po sa lift.
Okay, thank you. So, yung upper surface, basically, top part lang siya ng airfoil. So, doon, sa top part ng airfoil or the upper surface, doon yung airflow is nagmo-move ng mas mabilis. So, because of the shape of the airfoil, kagaya ng sabi mo, mas curve siya, yung air is nag-accelerate as it moves over the top part of the airfoil. So, it is yung pag-move niya upward or sa upper part ng airfoil is nagre-result siya sa lower pressure. So, yung low pressure region na yun naman is actually responsible for most of the lift generation ng airfoil. So, if So basically, lift is not just about pushing from below. It is actually about suction from above. So yun, na-discuss na naman natin siya last discussion ata. So, and then lower surface. Basically, ito lang yung contrast ng upper surface. Anyone? Franco?
The lower surface of the airfoil is the bottom side of the wing where airflow moves relatively slower compared to the upper surface. This difference in airflow speed helps create a pressure difference between the upper and lower surface, which contributes to the generation of lift. Ma'am, yung lower surface naman po is yung lower nga po or yung bottom face or bottom part po nung airfoil. Tapos usually po ay flat po siya. Tapos it maintains higher pressure po para ma-help ma-push yung wind pataas po.
Okay. Thank you. So, basically nga, yung lower surface, yun yung low part or bottom part ng airfoil. So, kung sa upper surface, mabilis yung airflow, sa ilalim naman or sa lower surface, yung airflow is relatively slower. So, sabi ni Franco, yung pressure is mataas dito sa lower surface. Bakit? So, basically, kasi yung velocity is mabagal. So, yan, mabagal yung velocity, so mataas yung pressure. So, yung high pressure region naman na yun is nag-help para ma-push yung wing upward. However, compared to the upper surface, yung contribution niya sa lift is mas maliit. Kasi 'di ba sa upper surface, it's about suction from above, kaya nagja-generate ng lift. So yun, mas maliit yung contribution niya compared sa upper surface. So, yung combination ng low pressure above and high pressure below, siya yung nagko-contribute or nagka-create ng total lift force. So, moving on. Okay, ito muna yung basic parts of airfoil. Parang medyo lumabo na sa pag-stretch ko. Hindi ko alam kung paano ko susulatan to. Kasi wala akong pen. Wait lang, check ko dito sa iPad kung pwede sulat. Okay. Oh no, paano ba rin? Wait lang. Hindi ko na siya susulatan kasi mouse lang yung gamit ko. Okay. Wait lang guys. Inaayos ko lang yung aking mouse. Okay, so since na-discuss naman natin yung description ng mga parts, for sure madali na siyang i-visualize. Pero just so you can visualize easier, ito yung leading edge. Nakikita ba? Hindi ko na siya susulatan ha, medyo mahirap siya eh. So basically, this is the leading edge, the frontmost part of the airfoil. So ito naman yung maximum thickness. Diyan yung pinaka-thick or pinaka-makapal yung airfoil. As you can see naman. And then, ito naman yung maximum camber. Actually, no. Wait lang. How to erase? Wait lang. Sorry, medyo lutang ako. Na-stress pa kasi ako gising. This is the maximum camber. Kita ba? Or nahihirapan kayo tingin? Kita naman, diba? At saka ina-expect ko nga alam niya na 'to kasi pina-activate ko naman 'to. Alam kong yung iba pare-parehas kayo ng sagot 'no? Parang mga nag-ChatGPT, eh. Pero yun, kung kahit na mag-search kayo or whatever, make sure to, um, review pa rin yung mga activity kasi yan, para may idea na kayo and hindi na kayo mahirapan na 'pag mag-e-exam saka kayo magre-review. So, yun lang naman yung reason kaya ako nagpapa-activity. And then this is the maximum camber naman. Yan, itong line na yan. I mean camber line, mean camber line. Yan yung nagsa-separate or nagdi-divide equally ng airfoil. Gets ba? Ito yung maximum camber, yan, yung distance between the chord line and the camber line or the mean camber line. React kayo, nagigets nyo ba? Or malabo, nakakalito. So, yan, uulitin ko lang. So, yung maximum camber natin, it is the distance between this blue hidden line, which is yung mean camber line, and then the chord line, which is the red hidden line. So, yung red hidden line natin, mas madali pa pala siya i-describe eh. Wait lang. Wait lang tayo mag-charge ng aking laptop. Okay. Okay, moving on. So, yun nga, itong red hidden line, it is the chord line. So, siya yung nagka-connect lang, hindi niya hinahati yung ating airfoil. Kino-connect niya lang yung ating leading edge and then the trailing edge. So, moving on, ito naman yung trailing edge natin. Yung pinakadulo lang. Actually, kahit hindi ko nga i-discuss, parang madali siya hulaan. Pero syempre, hindi natin hula. So, ito namang lower part, it is the lower surface. Ayan. Pero doon naman sa ipopost ko ng PPT, lalagyan ko na ng label para ano. And then, itong dinodrawing ko na to, this is the upper surface. So, yun lang. Ano pa bang, bakit na-drag? Okay, sige, hindi ko nabuburahin. Medyo. And then, ito naman, dito sa front, although this is not part ng ating basic parts ng airfoil, para lang alam nyo, ito, yan. Yan yung angle of attack. Yan. Yan yung angle of attack. And then, dito, itong papunta na itong wind na yan, yan yung relative wind na tatama sa airfoil. Okay, so moving on to the NACA series. Hala, may drawing pa pala. Wait lang. I will erase. Sorry, first time ko kasi gamit nito. Lagi kasi akong pen lang sa presentation. Okay, so moving on to the NACA airfoil series. So now that we know yung parts or basic parts ng airfoil, we can move forward sa NACA airfoil series para maintindihan natin pag naka-encounter tayo ng NACA number. Ano bang ibig sabihin nun? Kung ano bang hitsura nun? Actually, hindi ko naman na-expect na ma-visualize nyo siya. Pero at least, ma-describe nyo siya numerically. Or, yan, numerically. So, yun nga, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, the purpose of this system is para ma-standardize yung airfoil design. So, instead of describing the NACA series or the NACA airfoil in words, ma-describe natin siya in a numerical way. So, yan, mas madali siya i-compare and i-analyze. So, moving on to the NACA 4-digit series. Let's start with the 4-digit series muna. So, each digit has a meaning. So, yung first digit natin is nagre-represent ng maximum camber. So, second digit is location of maximum camber naman. Types of chords. So, kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, yung pag-describe natin sa parts ng airfoil, usually in reference siya sa chord line or sa chord. So, last two digits naman is the maximum thickness. So, usually, yung last two digit, maximum thickness na siya. Hindi na siya ita-times to whatever. So, kunwari, okay. Example muna tayo pala. Can someone explain itong ating example na naka 2412? Para raise na lang ng hand. Yes, Carlo Miguel.
Yung first digit po na 2, kinig po ako.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yung first digit po na 2, yun po yung sa camber po. Which is naka-percent po siya. So, 2% of camber po. Then yung 4 po is where the camber is located. So, sabi po dito is tens of chord. So, siya po ay 40% ng chord. Doon po malolocate. And then, yung maximum thickness po ay yung 12 naman po.
Okay, thank you. So, before I explain yung mga digits ng 4-digit series, explain ko lang muna. Ang difference ng 4-digit series and 5-digit series, ang 4-digit, it's about geometry lang. Wherein yung 5-digit series or naka 5-digit series is geometry and performance. So, yan, moving on to the digits ng ating naka 4-digit series. So, first digit is maximum camber. So, this is in reference to chord pala. Hindi ko lang na note dito. Pero, kung nakikinig kayo, i-take note nyo yan. Ang first digit is maximum camber in reference to chord. So, 2% siya ng chord. Gets? React na kayo if gets. So, basically, this is if in percentage or in decimal. So, kung in decimal siya, 0 to chord or 2% of chord. Gets? So, yun yung first digit natin. So, next is yung second digit naman. It is yung location ng maximum camber. So, intense. So, 40% siya or 0.4 C. 40% of chord from leading edge yung location ng maximum camber. And then, kung in decimal naman is 0.4 C. So, yung first digit, 0.2 C or 2% ng chord. And then, next is yung location naman is 0.4 C since it's intense. 0.4 C or 40% of chord. Gets? React na kayo if nagagets nyo. Okay, so lastly, yung last two digits or yung third and fourth digit, yun yung maximum thickness. Maximum thickness ng ating airfoil. So 12% yung maximum thickness. Usually ganun lang naman lagi yung last two digits. Okay, can we move forward na? Naiintindihan nyo ba? Okay. So next is naka 5-digit series. Anyone? Raise kayo ng hand. Tinitake note ko to. Malay nyo, magka-plus kayo sa finals. Malaki ang finals, 20%. Anyone? Okay, sige, magtatawag na lang ako. Okay. Parang tumaas na tong mga to si Mohika. Si Mohika? Hello?
Hello po. Audible po ba ako?
Yes.
Bali, sa pagkagets ko po, yung first digit po is yun po yung design lift coefficient po na or yung target lift po ng airfoil. While yung second at third digit po, which is yung 30 po, ayun po yung location tsaka yung type ng camber po. Tapos mas complex po siya kaysa po sa 4 digit. Then yung last 2 digit po, which is yung 12 po, is yun po yung maximum thickness po.
Okay. Sige, so medyo may ingay sa background, pero naintindihan ko naman. So, tama. Basically, yung 5-digit series, it is more advanced compared to the 4-digit series since, di ba yung 4-digit series, it explains lang or it describes yung geometry ng airfoil. Tapos yung 5-digit series, it also describes yung performance na. So yan, may design lift coefficient na dito. So first is yung design lift coefficient natin. So yung first digit natin, i-multiply natin lang sa 0.15. So 0.30 or 30% yung ating design lift coefficient. And then yung ating second and third digit ng 5-digit series is maximum camber position. So 15% ng chord kasi times 0.5 and then times C kasi in reference siya sa chord line. So ang ating second and third digit, it represents yung ating maximum camber position. So 15% of chord or 0.15. Tama? Okay, tama. So, react nga kayo if nagigets nyo. So, 0.15 C. Kasi in reference sa chord siya. Or 15%. So, moving on to the last digit. Actually, last 2 digit ba? Last digit nga pala. Fourth and fifth. So, ang last digit natin is yung 1 and 2. So, 12% yung maximum thickness niya. So, ganun lang naman lagi. Madali lang siya. Ang nagbabago lang lagi is yung mga unang part ng naka-digit series. So, lastly, 6-digit series naman tayo. Tatandaan nyo to ha. Actually, nung nag-exam ako dati dito, hindi ko sure kung itong subject na din na ito. Pero, pina-identify to sa exam. And hindi ko, dapat i-describe mo pala sa aming exam, dapat i-describe mo kung ano yung second digit, third digit, and fourth digit pala, and yung mga last digit na yun. Nilagay ko lang yung numerical explanation or numerical description. Hindi ko na dinescribe na, okay, this is the minimum pressure. So, yan, mali ako. So, tatandaan nyo, don't forget na ilagay yung second digit is the minimum pressure, ganyan, and then yung numerical equivalent niya. So, yan, moving on to the naka 6-digit series. Anyone? Wait lang, check ko lang. Yes, Tope?
So, meron pa po yung first digit. Yung first digit po ay like kung anong series po siya. May iba't ibang series daw po. Tapos, sa second digit po ay yung minimum pressure para mas efficient siya. Tapos, yung third digit na after ng dash po ay yung lift coefficient niya. Yung last two digit naman po ay yung thickness po ng airfoil, yung percent po niya. Tapos po ay yung naka 6 digit daw po ay na-design daw po siya para ma-minimize po yung drag tapos ma-maintain po yung pagiging laminar po ng flow.
Okay, tama. So, thank you. So, yung first digit, hindi ko na siya nilagay kasi basically, it is yung series lang nung naka-airfoil. So, yan. Since 6 yung first, usually ginagamit lang naman to sa 6-digit series. So, 6, it means lang na 6-digit series siya. So, nag-move forward na ako sa second digit. So, for the second digit, minimum pressure siya. So, actually, location siya ng minimum pressure. So, it is yung, anong number natin dito? 3. So, 3 times the 0.5 times the C kasi in reference ulit sa chord. So, 15% ng chord or 0.15 C F decimal. Gets? Gets ba everyone? Okay, so next naman sa ating third digit after ng dash. So, it is yung design lift coefficient. So, if mapapansin nyo, walang design lift coefficient sa ating 4-digit series kasi nga, all about geometry lang siya. So, mga location lang siya ng camber line or yung thickness dito, may design lift coefficient tayo sa 5 digits and 6 digits. So, times 0.1 lang siya ng third digit. So, 0.2 ang ating numerical value ng third digit. Numerical description, I mean. So, sa fourth digit naman, it is yung thickness. This is not the maximum thickness. It's just the thickness. So, this is 0.1 times yung fourth digit times the 0.01 pala, I mean. And then, times the C kasi in reference ulit sa chord. So, 0.01 C. Yun lang. Gets? Gets ba? 0.01 C. Gets ba, everyone? Actually, nilagay ko naman dyan yung kung paano nyo kukunin para madali. Dati kasi wala, parang description lang. So, babalikan nyo para lang alam nyo. So, lastly is yung maximum thickness. So, 15%. Laging ganun lang. Yung last two digit, yun yung maximum thickness. So, yun. Gets ba ang ating topic for today? So, yun lang naman. So, tomorrow we'll have a quiz online lang since wala tayong face-to-face. Tinry ko humanap ng room pero actually medyo mahirap kasi may klase kayo na sunod. Tama ba? May klase kayo na sunod bukas, di ba? After ng ating meeting. So, online lang ang ating quiz. So, review nyo yung last topic natin which is the basic propulsion system. Tama? And then ito yung airfoil and airfoil naka-airfoil digit series. Yun lang, madali lang naman yung topic natin kasi wala naman tayong, tawag dito, wala naman tayong computation. So, kaya-kaya ko din siya online quiz. So, we'll have a quiz and be prepared na lang. And, tawag dito, hindi ko ipopost yung PPT kasi dapat mag-note kayo and kaya nga nagtatawag ako para ma-make sure ko na nandito kayo. Pero actually, madali lang itong topic na ito and pina-activity ko. So, kung may gusto kayo balikan, edi check yung activity. Okay? So, may question ba kayo before we end our meeting? If wala, let's dismiss na. We can leave our meeting na.
Bayan, thank you po.